Today we're going to do something really fun. Today we're going to work on some of these items and we're going to look at whether they sink in this bowl of water or if they float in this bowl of water. This activity that we're working on is going to help us predict. Predicting is kind of like taking an educated guess. So from our experience that we already know, we can take a guess as to whether this napkin might sink or might float. We're also going to work on some of our sentences. So some of us might be working on naming items or using sentences. So if you are working on naming items, you could tell me that's an orange or I see an orange. All right, here's the fun part. Those of us who are making predictions, I want you to go and get a piece of paper and a pencil, a pen, or a crayon. If you don't have those items right now, this would be a good part to pause it and go get them. So, not yet. You need to get yourself a pencil or a pen, a piece of paper, and come back to the table. Go ahead and pause it. Okay, so if you are going to make predictions, I want you to draw a line all the way down your page. And then I want you to spell the word sink and float. This says I think. And we're going to make predictions on whether things sink, and we're going to write our predictions here if they sink or float. All right, so if you haven't done that yet, this would be a good part to pause the video and go ahead and write sink and float and a line down the middle. Remember, if I'm going too fast, you can always pause it. Okay, let's get started. So, I have this cupcake toy. It's a little bit spongy, it's not very hard, and it's kind of soft. Do we think this will float on the water? Or do we think this might sink in the water? What do you think? If you are writing your predictions, go ahead and write your prediction under if you think this might sink. So is the cupcake going to sink or is the cupcake going to float? What do you think? Let's see. Can you guys see that? It doesn't look like it's under the water. It looks like it's on top of the water. So that cupcake is floating. You got it. The cupcake is floating in the water. That was interesting. We're going to put our cupcake that floats on this side. These are all of our floating items. Our next one is an egg. That's right. The egg is a little bit harder and it's a little bit heavier. Do you think that this egg is going to sink down in the water? Or do you think this egg is going to float in the water? What do you think? That's a great guess. Let's find out. Oh my goodness, that egg is under the water. Do you see that? That egg is sinking. It sunk in the water. Oh my goodness. So we're going to put our egg on this side where it says sink. It went in the water or under the water. The next one is a car. That's right, it is a car. Do you think the car is going to sink Or do you think it's going to float? That's a great guess. Let's find out. Oh, for a minute there, that car looked like it was going to float, didn't it? But it looks like it's all the way under the water. So that means that the car sinks in the water. It's all the way at the bottom. Were you going to guess that? Oh my goodness. The next one I found outside. This is a leaf. That's right. Do you think that this leaf is gonna float on the water? Or do you think it's gonna sink in the water? What do you think? That's a great guess. Let's find out. Can you see that leaf? That leaf is floating on the water. It's not under, it's on the water. That leaf is floating. That leaf is floating on the water. Great guess. What is this? That's right, it's a spoon. What do we use a spoon for? Great job. We use a spoon to scoop up our food to help us eat. Do you think that this spoon is gonna sink in the water, or do you think it's gonna float on the water? Remember, if you are making your predictions, it would be a good idea to pause it and write if you think this spoon is going to sink or if you predict it's going to float. So remember, after each one, you can pause it. All right, let's see. Sink or float? Oh my goodness. That spoon is under the water. That spoon is sinking. It's sunk. Okay. Did you predict that? Did you think that a spoon would sink or float? Me too. I'm going to choose this one because this looks interesting. This is a sponge. It's really soft. Do you think this sponge is gonna float on the water? Or do you think the sponge is gonna sink in the water? Great job. Let's see. Oh my goodness, do you see that? What is the sponge doing? Is the sponge sinking or is the sponge floating? That's right. The sponge is floating in the water. You are right. So this sponge floats. Oh, friends, I found this outside. What is this? That's right. It is a rock. It feels heavier than the sponge. Do you think that this rock is going to sink to the bottom? Or do you think this rock is going to float? Great guess. Let's see. Ooh, where did that rock go? Can you see it? Is it on the water or did it go under the water? That's right. That rock went under the water. It sunk. So the rock sinks. Did you guess that? Did you think that this rock was going to sink or float? Great guess. All right, friends. I have one more item left. And this is a small orange. What is it? An orange. orange. Great job. Do you think that this orange, it's kind of heavy? Do you think this orange is going to sink? Or do you think this orange is going to float? What's your guess? That's a great guess. Let's see what happens to the orange. Ready, set, go. Oh my goodness, do you see that orange? I don't know if you can see it from over there, but that orange did not fall to the bottom, or it is not all the way under the water. Can you see it moving and bobbing around? That orange is floating. I did not expect that. So this orange floats. Was that your prediction? Did you predict the orange would float on the top, or did you think it would sink to the bottom? That was a good guess. So this orange floats. Let's see how many items we have that float. Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 items that float. Very good. And let's see how many items we have that sank. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 items that sank. So we have the same amount. Was there one that surprised you? The one that surprised me was actually the orange. I thought the orange was going to sink, but it didn't. The orange floats. Well, friends, I hope you really liked that activity. You guys can do this at home if you ask your mom and dad. All you need is a small container like this, or if you don't have a container, you can always fill up the bathtub when you take a bath. You can find different items to put inside the bowl to predict whether they will sink or float. Remember, before putting things in water, you need to always ask your mom or your dad or an adult. Okay, friends, well, I hope you enjoyed it. We had a good time predicting what would float and what would sink.